Once a year, the streets of Trois, Rivieres, Quebec are the site of North America's oldest street race. This treacherous circuit provides some of the Players Limited GM Motorsports' most competitive racing. This year, it's also the site of one of the fiercest Rookie of the Year races in this series' history. Jacques Liliev leads all the rookies by a margin of 38 points. His good friend and rival, Didier Scrannon, is in the thick of it as well. And Normand Boyer, the third member of this rookie battle. Today, the three who would be champion will battle it out in the streets of Trois Rivieres.
This is the GM Motorsport Hour. Brought to you by Players Limited, General Motors of Canada Limited, Quality GM Parts, the expert choice, and by Sony, the one and only.
Well, here we are. We welcome you again to North America's oldest and most traditional street course, and it's in Trois Rivieres in Quebec. I'm Jim Paulson. This entire Players Limited GM Motorsports Series crowd look forward to this street event every year, and two especially hungry men are sitting in the front row here because of the inverted grid. Terry Betts wants a victory, so does Doug Beatty Jr. But we have a trio from Quebec that are looking for those Rookie of the Year honors. They're a little further back in the field. Normand Boyer, our fastest qualifier here. Jacques Liliev currently leads the points for rookie honors, and Didier Scrannon just sitting a little further back here as well. Keep an eye on this trio today. Going to be hard fought. In fact, let's have a look at the entire grid. Here's my co-host, Eric Hollow.
Thank you, Jim. 23 cars lined up, ready to go. Ron Schell, the Edwards, Ontario native, lines up his Poplar Grove Camaro in row 11.
21-year-old Sean Grossman continues his road to the front, starts his Camaro on row 10.
Entering his second year in the series is Stratford's Terry Douglas in the Mitre Place Camaro.
Hometown boy Renault Hamlin has qualified the Sherwood Firebird in row 9. He's definitely a fan favorite this weekend.
Another of our Rookie of the Year challengers, Paul Duckworth, the youngest competitor in this series, brings his Sony Bob Johnson Camaro into row 9.
Didier Scrannon is working triple duty this weekend, racing in another series and hosting the French TV for some of this weekend's events.
Another hometown boy, Richard Trois, brings his Sherwood Firebird onto row 8.
Joe Lapsevich Jr. in the Tim Horton Camaro has shaken off some bad luck at the Toronto street circuit, and he is here ready to race.
Younger brother Jeff Lapsevich joins Joe in row 7. He hopes to work with his teammate and brother to move through the pack.
David Empringham had an unusually difficult time on this track in his Motormaster Camaro. David also running his Players Atlantic car on the circuit this weekend.
Our Rookie of the Year points leader Jacques Liliev says he's starting to learn the tricks of setting up the Karcher Napa Camaro.
And Normand Boyer will race against Jacques for the rookie points starting in the same row. Great friends off the track, competitors on.
In the distinctive red and yellow Mackie moving Camaro, number 7, Chris Davies.
And King Richard Spinard had trouble with setup in qualifying. He managed the 5th row, but he'll be looking to move up early on this narrow course.
Quebec native Peter Cohen in his Magic Kiss Camaro finished 3rd in the last street circuit race.
And John Catman Jr. will start from the 6th spot with the inverted grid. He's our Sunoco Gold fastest qualifier.
I think from the second half on, it gets pretty serious. Things are really tight right now from 2nd through 4th. So there's a lot of guys here that got a lot to lose and a lot to gain. So I think everybody's going to be really fighting hard and running real hard for the next 3 races, and we'll have to see who comes out on top.
The man who is on top is Rob Fellows. His Sunoco Camaro has only a single victory, but with fastest qualifier points and steady top 3 finishes, has a comfortable lead.
Robin Buck, he was 3rd fastest. His Pringles Firebird won this rain-soaked event last year. He has to be a favorite again this year.
Beside Robin on row 2, Kenny Wilden in the unmistakable bright Tide Bounce Camaro always does well at the big street events.
And on the front row, Doug Beatty Jr.'s EDS Camaro. Doug is still looking for victory number 1. Feels starting up front is going to be a huge advantage.
Another pole position for Terry Betts. He managed to be 6th fastest and loves the crowds.
There's no added pressure. In fact, I'm very comfortable at Three Rivers, but it's nice to know that the crowd does appreciate racing. It helps you get up a little bit, no question about that.
Well, last-minute preparations on the grid as the starter signals the drivers and crews to fire up those engines.
Going inside now with Richard Spinard. He's going to carry one of the special remote control moving cameras. This is a very exciting way to see a race. We'll see it just like the driver's season.
You know, if they've seen any of the NASCAR racing events, they'll be familiar with these cameras and how they work, and we're debuting them in this series, Eric.
And wait, there's more, because John Cadman Jr. will carry the other remote control camera.
Okay, John Cadman Jr. is ready. Some last-minute instructions here from his crew. The field in motion. Back of the big Pontiac Grand Prix pace car. We'll be back with the start of the Players Limited GM Motorsport race from Trois, Rivieres, Quebec after this. Welcome back to Trois, Rivieres, Quebec. It's the Players Limited GM Motorsport Eastern Division Round 8 action about to happen.
Big race again, Jim. In Quebec, you know, the fans probably get in trouble for saying this, but the Quebec fans are probably the best in Canada. They love their racing, and they love their race car drivers, too.
Well, there's Richard Spinard, and of course, Richard raced Atlantic cars on this very circuit some years ago. He's really one of the enduring figures at this circuit. I'd have to keep an eye on him today, Eric.
I think the fans have enjoyed themselves this weekend, and certainly the drivers walking around getting the autographs. Very prestigious race to win in Canada.
Here they are. They come out of the final corner, heading down Avenue Gilles Villeneuve. Just one of the many glorious names that have raced here in the past. We should get a green in a moment. Terry Betts kind of, oh, look at this. Robin Buck doing a little tapping, and the green flies. This race is underway.
That is one congested start, and Kenny Wilden gets a beautiful start.
Look at Chris Davies on the inside here. He and Peter Cohen really get together, but get through the corner safely. So Peter Cohen made a real dash on the outside, but Chris Davies beat him out by being tied against that concrete wall on the inside. But look at Betts. He's leapt in front. He's running away.
He's really starting to lead this race right off the bat. Kenny Wilden's keeping close. Well, they're all very, very close at this point in time, and the contact didn't seem to hurt anybody in that first corner.
In the past, here on the street circuit at Trois Rivieres, we have seen some very interesting traffic jams form up, especially off the start. And the first thing I'm amazed with is the fact that everyone got away so cleanly. Now we have a look back from Doug Beatty's car. Doug is running third. He's keeping a very close eye on this man who loves street circuits, Eric, and that is John Cadman Jr.
This is a beautiful street circuit as well, tree-lined in several spots. It's important this early in the race at a street circuit where it's very hard to pass, to get an early start passing cars immediately.
Well, look at that. Cadman is all over the place. He literally got it up in the dirt. In fact, most of the competitors coming out of that corner seem to get it right up on the curbing and into the dirt, and now running really very nicely in a single file formation.
Is he running too hard? I'm talking about Terry Betts, the man in the lead here, the blue and yellow car. The concern has got to be brakes on this circuit. You don't want to run out of them before the end of the race.
Look at this fight. Cohen is sitting in 7th spot, but he is right on Richard Spinard, and Cohen decides on that Chris Davies line we saw earlier. He's right up against the concrete, and he beats Spinard out in corner 1. That's wild.
That was a beautiful move. Just a tucked on the inside, out broke Richard Spinard, who's very patient. He's got a lot of maturity here. Inside corner takes him.
Well, you have to admit, on that street circuit in Toronto, Cohen was very aggressive, and looks like he's trying it again now that he's back in Quebec. But this man, Kenny Wilden, has had great success in Quebec this year, sitting in a very nice second. But as you watch here, it looks like Betts is running away a little bit, and then again in the corners, it kind of tightened up.
The concern again is, you know, with Richard Spinard, maybe he's saying, it's early in the race, I want to save my brakes, I want to save my tires, I want to be there at the end.
I wonder if Terry Betts isn't being a rabbit here. Remember the Sunoco domination on the oval at Cayuga, for example. Now, there's only the 2 cars racing here, but at this point, Rob Fellows is not a factor. Cadman Jr. up on that curbing one more time, really chasing Doug Beatty Jr., but cannot get him.
Terry Betts is really setting the pace here. You know, he wants to get that first win. Look at the action back there now off the track. He wants to get this first win. He was very close earlier this year with his first podium finish.
Well, we're in car now with Paul Duckworth, who almost went off the course there. He's sitting in 19th place, frantically after Richard Trois, the Alpine entry. Trois Rivieres is home to the Sherwood Racing team, so the Annual visit of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series allows them to play host for a change.
Really a good discovery because we've only been involved now. It's our third year. And the program has given our product great exposure in the marketplace. And we're very, very pleased to be associated with the GM Series and hope to have a long future with them.
You know, racing in their own backyard seems to appeal to the Sherwood racing drivers.
Pleasure to have all the race here from GM players. We're happy to receive all the racemen, the race fans here, and that's a big event for us in Three Rivers because that's our hometown, and everybody knows us very well here.
And there he is, number 23, Richard Trois, having a good day so far for his fans and family here.
And back to the leaders, Terry Betts out front, and young Kenny Wilton, the tied entry, right on him. There's number 11, that is Doug Beatty Jr., a nice strong third spot. They beat him, though, on the start of this race, and Doug wants to win this year, but he's got John Cadman Jr. on his tail, Eric.
He's watching second place right now, that tied bounce car, the orange number 17 of Kenny Wilton. He's holding on very tight to our leader.
Once again, in car with Doug Beatty Jr., the EDS Mackey moving entry, and it looks like Doug is pulling away a little bit from John Cadman Jr. The juniors have got their own little war happening. I think it has to work to John Cadman's advantage, though. He really does love these street circuits. But at this point, I don't know, Doug Beatty is doing a nice job as well.
Getting some beautiful shots from in-car here when looking forward to our remote cameras when we start to move them, actually. In cars today with Richard Spinard, Terry Betts, Chris Davies, and Jeff Lapsevich.
By the way, Joe Lapsevich is carrying one of those cameras as well. Robin Buck has always done well. We'll watch him, John Cadman Jr., and Paul Duckworth, of course, our Sony entry with that Sony in-car cam as well.
There he is, number 71, John Cadman Jr. The street circuits, a lot of the drivers consider it a great equalizer because you really can't rent the track for practice time or setup time, so everybody comes here with the same amount of time on the track.
We've got to watch the man right behind car number 71 here, John Cadman Jr. That's Robin Buck in the Pringles entry. Robin was showing a little bit of elbow on the start of the event today as we go in car with John Cadman Jr. sitting in a nice fourth place, but he has got Robin Buck right at his tail. Robin has always finished well, in fact, at Trois Rivieres, so look out, John Cadman Jr. It's early in this event. No major moves seem to have been made as yet, Eric.
It's great to go in car and get a shot of the driver with the Sony remote cameras in there to see the concentration and how much work these drivers really have to deal with in the cockpit.
There's the race leader, Terry Betts. Blue Sunoco entry is still running very strong out front. And again, it seems to be a rabbit roll for Terry, and yet we do know he's hungry. Look how tight, though, these front runners still are. No one is really running away with it yet today.
Concerned about our leader, Terry Betts. Is he running too hard? You know, he hasn't had a chance to lead a lot of races, and he is the man setting the pace here today.
Again, John Cadman Jr.'s view. The brakes come on for Beatty. Beatty gets very tight up in that concrete. I think Cadman was even closer, in fact, the last time they went through. Once more, he tries to come in. It looks like John is trying to take a little tighter inside line, but it's not really helping him yet, Eric.
We're going to find out soon enough who has the maturity and who has the patience on this track to wait it out, wait for the opportunities to pass, because as is any street circuit, the walls are pretty large and it becomes very hard to pass.
You know, if you look at this, it looks like a giant snake, in fact. And with 5 laps down, Terry Betts still in front, and I love this second 5, led by Peter Cohen. But look at Normand Boyer. He's the top running rookie in this stage, sitting 10th overall. We'll be back with this race right after this break. Welcome back to Trois Rivieres, Quebec, North America's oldest street circuit. It's round 8 of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series, and we've got our race leader here, the number 6 Sunoco Camaro of Terry Betts, and a very tight field right up on Terry.
Looking back from Terry Betts now at number 17, that orange tide bounce car of Kenny Wilton. He is on the hunt. It looks like he's having a little bit easier of a time hanging on to the number 1 spot now.
You know, that third place man, though, number 11 is Doug Beatty Jr. There's number 71, John Cadman Jr. But I saw Doug kind of dive to the outside. He had a little peak, so they've been running pretty steadily. I think the whole field being a little cautious on the first half dozen laps or so here, Eric. But when are the moves going to start taking place? Here we are with Robin Buck. He's back in 5th. I would have thought Robin, for example, would have been more aggressive by now, but maybe it's about to happen.
But Robin's been in the series for many, many years, and maybe that patience, maturity is paying off. He's sitting back, waiting for the people in front of him just to duel it out and to get done with their brakes and things like that and get back to racing.
Now, let me stress again, these competitors truly do look forward to racing on this circuit, but the fact is it's a once-a-year event. They don't really have time for any practice. There's no rehearsal on this track, Eric.
Absolutely not. You know, we watch now at number 17, Kenny Wilden. He's just ahead of Beatty here, who's sitting in third. When is he going to start trying to fill the mirrors of Terry Betts, to move from side to side? Kenny's had a very big year of racing, and he's gained a lot of experience. One of the things I think he's learned on the street circuits is put the pressure on the man who's in first place.
Okay, Terry Betts, our race leader, has been on the podium a couple of times this year. The man we were just riding with there, Doug Beatty Jr. You think Terry's hungry? Doug would love a victory. He's never had one in this series, so I would still look for this man sitting in third spot to give it a bit of a challenge today as well. But Terry's still very much in control.
First 5 or 6 cars, very, very close, almost nose to tail. You know, these are the same kind of cars you and I can buy, the Firebirds and Camaros. Just the roll bars are added, some safety nets, other safety features in the cars. Pretty much equal, so it is up to driver ability, all racing on Goodyear tires.
Look at Kenny Wilden make his moves now. Every now and then we're looking at Kenny having a little peek. In fact, there's Doug Beatty Jr. having a peek one more time. And looking back from Terry Betts' car, now we see that, in fact, this young man in the tied bounce entry has decided, okay, time to bounce Betts around a little bit here.
I think just a little bit of pressure. He's taking a look here and there, maybe moving out like he is right here to cool the brakes down, because the brakes are getting very hot on the circuit today.
Well, the fact is, even following in car with these guys, and look at that, Cohen just at the top of your screen was having a peek, and here's a pass. Scranton has a go at Lapsevich Jr., gets by him, and now Lapsevich Jr. is right up on Scranton's tail.
They might as well be racing for first spot here. They're hungry all the way through the pack. Points become very, very important as the season progresses.
Look at Renault Hamlin, number 13. He gets right in the thick of all this now. He's right up on DJ Scranton, and Scranton slides away almost into the concrete wall. Manages to keep it off. DJ, the 94 Camaro, having a very busy weekend here at Trois Rivieres. In fact, he's the subject of our Players Limited profile.
36-year-old DJ Scranton is in the unique position of being able to combine his racing pleasure with his business.
As a job, I'm a radio announcer, and because I love motorsports, you know, I was involved in commentating those events, and as I said, after a while, it was time for me to get involved, into the action, if you can say so. I combined what I like the best, like my job, and what is my hobby, you know, because I do it as a hobby. I do it for fun, you know.
When not racing, DJ works as a broadcaster on RDS. Does his racing knowledge help his broadcasting?
Well, I always have a lot of respect for a race driver, but now that I am in the driver's seat, you know, I can feel all the difficulties they are encounter when they're behind the steering wheel, and I can, at that point, give more information to the spectators or to the TV listeners.
Another important element in DJ's life is his family. He gets a lot of support from his wife.
My wife is unbelievable, you know, because she has to take care of everything. Me, the baby, she's pregnant, and she's unbelievable. It's life in the passing. It's the way we love it, I think. Well, my wife likes the races. She loves me. That's why she's here, and for that I respect her a lot.
Here's DJ Scranton, the 94 red, white, and blue Camaro, still chasing Trois Rivieres native Renault Hamlin and the black Firebird. Oh, into the wall.
Number 23, Richard Roy, no damage to the car. He manages to pull out and...
Oh, look out, 29, Sean Grossman right in behind him there, but they do not really touch, Eric.
I was going to say continue safely, but he almost didn't there.
Whoa, okay, a little quieter now, I think, out front here with Terry Betts. Oh, no, it's not. Look at this. The tied bounce entry is all over our race leader, and Kenny Wilden fights to get by, but unsuccessfully.
Here's the pressure that I was expecting from Kenny Wilden, that tied bounce car. We're looking back now, who's sitting in second spot. He moves out to the left, to the right, filling the mirrors of Terry Betts right now. Perhaps just a little bit of pressure so Terry will make a mistake.
Let's keep an eye on Kenny Wilden. What has he learned from John Cadman Jr.? It looks like that similar situation where he got hung up behind Cadman Jr. in the Toronto event.
Top 4 cars very, very close, kind of waiting each other out, settling down at this stage of the race and hoping for the other drivers to make a mistake they can take advantage of.
Whoa, looked like John Cadman Jr. hit the wall. That picture broke up, but that's not really what happens there. He's running tight to the wall, but the picture breaks up elsewhere, Eric.
These are brand new remote cameras. We've always had cameras in the cars. These remote cameras are actually beamed up to a helicopter and then back down to our mobile studios, and they will turn and as the driver's head would turn. So you actually see, if you notice the camera changing the angles, you see what the driver sees on the track.
And if you catch a hit or break up, it's really just because they're running under a bridge or maybe the Duplessis arch, but otherwise pretty wide open. Now Cadman's really falling off the pace here.
Sitting in 4th spot, he's still close enough to take advantage of any kind of mistakes that the top 3 drivers could make.
You know, Beatty gets right up in that curbing, literally over into the dirt, and yet Cadman does not take advantage of that as yet. In other words, Beatty is not scrubbing off speed when he gets up there. He's maybe, in fact, grabbing a little grip here to hang on to that 3rd spot, and he's hanging on desperately.
Now the concern has got to be, again, the brakes. We mentioned this right off the top of the race, and for Terry Betts, who's been running very, very hard, setting the pace here, I got to be concerned that his brakes might not last the entire race here.
Okay, we're looking at Kenny Wilden, the tied entry, right up on our race leader, Terry Betts, in car again with John Cadman Jr. He's sitting in 4th. Oh, again, it looked like he hit the wall. He did not, folks, I reassure you, but he is running so tight to the wall, and is that to his advantage? Kenny now has a peek on the outside.
This could be for cooling his brakes down. It could be for psychological reasons to try and pressure Terry into making a mistake, or it could be just to take a look to see where he can get an advantage.
John Cadman Jr. again using much the same ploy, and let's just go back to this a little bit now. Peter Cohen, the Magic Kiss entry, running in 6th spot, right on the Pringles Firebird of Robin Buck. And when is Cohen going to make a move, or when is Robin Buck going to do something? You get the feeling maybe they're afraid to break their focus at this point. Oh, this time they're bouncing all over though, Eric.
Yeah, the track looks like it's getting just a little bit slippery at this stage of the game.
Cohen goes on the inside. I think maybe he got Robin Buck, and now he comes out of the corner. No, Buck is still beside him. Can Cohen get through in this corner? Will Buck gain advantage? No, he pops in front one more time.
Now that's beautiful, beautiful driving and experience on Robin Buck's part.
I think on Cohen's part, too, in that he let Robin Buck jump back in there one more time as opposed to trying to shoulder him out of there because Robin would not have given ground.
No, had he closed the door, they both could have been out of the race.
It's Kenny Wilden again. Okay, he is working on Terry Betts now. Has Terry Betts overplayed the game? He does want this victory. Kenny Wilden was in this spot just an event ago. Now, is he going to play this game a little more differently? Has a peek to the inside. Nope. Decides, let's have a look at the outside here. And no, he can't seem to get up enough tempo to really make an attempt to pass.
After 10 laps, Terry Betts still leads. John Cadman Jr. sitting in 4th. There's Peter Cohen in 6th spot. Richard Spinard way down in 7th.
We'll be back. More great race activity right after this break. Welcome back to Trois Rivieres, round 8 of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series. Here's your leader, Terry Betts out front. He started in the pole position. Kenny Wilden, the tied bounce entry right on him in the bright orange car, has been pressing Terry right from the very start of this event, and it continues. And still a good fight for 3rd place as well.
Almost halfway mark we've reached in the race, and I think Kenny Wilden is getting a little tired of following Terry Betts around. He's got to find a way past him.
In car with John Cadman Jr. And what is he going to do about Doug Beatty Jr.? Well, for now, again, he gets very close to the walls here, as do all of our front runners, but no way he can get around. And yet, right behind them, we have the rest of our fight shaping up here with Robin Buck, and of course, Spinard is not far away. Rob Fellows is coming on. Betts looking back, and he has got Wilden all over him. Oh, it's by! He made it by!
Kenny Wilden has finally done it. What a beautiful move.
John Cadman Jr. makes a move on Doug Beatty Jr. and Cadman is by. So here we are.
So a double pass in there. Let's take a replay of that, Jim.
Here's Wilden, dives to the inside. Elbows Betts out of the way. He's through. Now let's have a look at John Cadman Jr.'s move.
Yep. Yeah, watch the brakes go on Beatty's car here. And Cadman just tucks on the inside.
Almost looked like Beatty had lost it, but in fact it was a little tap that Cadman gave Doug Beatty Jr. just to remind him he was in fact coming by. But here we are, talk about the deck being shuffled. Kenny Wilden now in front. Terry Betts running 2nd. There's John Cadman Jr. 3rd. Doug Beatty now back in 4th place. Now what will happen? when will Robin Buck make a move? You know, he is watching this front four, and his focus has not been broken as yet. Robin can be very patient here on this narrow street circuit at Trois Rivieres as well.
And Richard Spinard sitting in 7th spot. That's way back there for Richard.
And where is Rob, fellows? Or will he ever become a factor? Actually, he's in view at the top of your screen there, folks. So he is within striking distance as we come in tight again on our race leaders. And it is, in fact, Kenny Wilden, number 17. The young man is in front. He would love to have had this position in Toronto. Today, he's got it. You know, you almost got the impression with those dual passes, Eric, that maybe John Cadman Jr. and Kenny Wilden had radio contact themselves. It was like a little ballet move there.
This was not going to happen again to Kenny Wilden as happened in Toronto, where he ran out of time.
Well, Kenny Wilden, our Goodyear mid-race leader, he gets the new set of fresh tires, and after this race, he'll need those new Goodyears, no question.
Number 7, Chris Davies, into the wall.
Whoa, the Mackey moving entry smacks into the wall. Let's get a replay. Oh, look at that. He catches a corner, took the corner too tight. We said they were running tight on those corners throughout the race. Chris in there too close this time, ripped off the front left tire. That's it. He pulls it aside.
At the end of the race, the brakes are gone too. I can't get back to the pits.
Chris Davies, number 7, saying the brakes are gone as well. It's amazing how tough the GM product cars are when you think about how hard he hit.
Look at Robin Buck's move on Doug Beatty Jr. And now Richard Spinard makes a move as well. Buck is by. What has happened with Doug Beatty Jr.? He has dropped off it. Well, maybe not. He's got enough left here to hold off Spinard.
Richard Spinard now sitting in 6th spot, starting to move his way through the field.
Okay, Beatty puts the brakes on. Now Spinard comes in and decides I'll have a go at the inside. Beatty is right up in that curving again, almost into the dirt. Will Spinard make a move here? He does!
These beautiful camera angles, the remote cameras we've got can follow the cars they're passing all the way through.
In the meantime, look at young Kenny Wilden. There's a yellow here, of course, for the Chris Davies car off to the side, just to warn the field as they come by. But Wilden is now beginning to pull away, and you almost get the feeling that Terry Betts is kind of holding John Cadman Jr. up a little bit here, but Terry does not want to give up this point position.
And look at the lead, number 17, Kenny Wilden, in that Tide Bounce, that beautiful orange car. He's beginning to make that distance further and further now from 1st and 2nd spot.
Kenny Wilden into view. Here's Terry Betts. John Cadman Jr. Comes across the line, has a look to the inside, thinks better of it at this point. No, has a look one more time. Oh, now they're playing the mental games again with Terry Betts. And is Terry going to prove veteran enough not to be taken in by this ploy? I wonder.
As we heard number 7, Chris Davies, say his brakes were gone. Well, it could be happening with the other drivers too. The cars are getting tired at this point of the race, and the drivers are getting fatigued.
And look at Robin Buck. He's just sitting back of this man, number 71, John Cadman Jr. We get a view again from John's car, and watch him work on Terry Betts. John right up tight on that concrete sidewall, but doesn't quite touch it. Seems a little tighter on it than Terry does, in fact. Means what, Eric? I guess he's running a little tighter line in the course.
Time is going to be a factor here in this race. Some of the drivers are going to have to be concerned. You know, this is a street circuit. We mentioned before, it's very hard to pass on a street circuit, and all the cars are equal. The engines are sealed in the factory, so that makes it even harder to pass.
Again in car with John Cadman Jr. He works on Terry Betts. John is in 3rd. He wants that 2nd place spot. I think he wants to get back into a dice with Kenny Wilden one more time. The two of them seem to have fun on any street circuit anywhere.
There's no question about it. Cadman is now being held up by Terry Betts. And this is also helping Robin Buck catch him.
Okay, look at that. Cadman dives now, literally. His moves are becoming a little more pronounced, a little more frenetic. I don't know. Maybe John Cadman Jr. is just getting a little impatient here.
We've got one nice battle shaping up for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spots.
Cadman again, very close. The Betts line is a little more mid-track. Oh, look at this fight further back. Here we are. Interesting, because you talk about the fight for the rookie honors again. Norman Boyer has gotten by Peter Cohen, and Cohen, what's happening here? He's losing something in his car. He's showing the frustration there, Eric, by beating away on the wheel, but it's not going to help him.
That is not a minor adjustment to the car. He's made no modifications to the interior allowed.
Well, we saw Boyer get it right up into the dirt, but Cohen, no, look at this. Yeah, something is happening to his car. Something is falling off as he comes through that corner specifically, I think, Eric.
He's dropped back substantially from chasing number 50, Norman Boyer.
Well, again, as it breaks, what is falling away on, it seems the examples are Doug Beatty Jr., Cohen further back, and what is happening with Terry Betts here. And is John Cadman going to make a move soon? He's right up on him.
What we're seeing here is the drivers that did not take care of their car and kind of ease them through the first half of this race are beginning to lose the car.
Okay, Cadman again on the outside. Now he dives, literally dives over to the outside of the track. Then he's back on the inside of Terry Betts. Is he trying to break his concentration, maybe, Eric?
I think he's trying to find any way past him he can. I don't know what he's going to do. Time is running out for him.
Kenny Wilden just as happy to be in front of this pack, I think, at this stage, as again Cadman looks to the inside. No, thinks better of it. Falls in back behind Terry Betts one more time. The Sunoco crowd staying very prominent in this race, thanks to Terry Betts' performance here in number 6. John Cadman Jr. again, we're in car with him.
Go back to the 4th spot where Robin Buck sits in one of the few Firebirds in this field, and he has won at this track before. He's always got to be considered a factor.
I'm almost worried that we're going to see Robin Buck suddenly pop into view here. I mean, we know he's not far away from John Cadman Jr., and if John gets held up much longer here, yeah, it's going to be to Robin's advantage, no question.
Now look at the standings after 15 laps, Jim.
Kenny Wilden, our race leader, Terry Betts, John Cadman Jr., a little further back, Norman Boyer running 8th, leading that rookie war. And there's the local favorite, Renault Hamlin, sitting in 12th spot. We'll be back with more race action in a moment.
Hi, I'm Bobby Rahal. Stay tuned for more of the GM Motorsports Hour.
Welcome back to Trois, Rivieres, Quebec, as we take it to the streets again in the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series. And Kenny Wilden is out in front, but Terry Betts still sits in second, and that's John Cadman Jr. all over him. We go in car with John.
Number 17, Kenny Wilden. Look at the lead he's piling up right now. Just a beautiful. You know, if he could keep it together.
Oh, no.
Speaking of keeping it together,
Betts is blowing it right there. They broke his concentration. I don't believe it. Cadman worked on him, and now motors by. Terry Betts. Cadman is now in second.
Oh, Terry Betts has not had a good second half of the race so far.
Oh, look at this. Robin Buck now is right up on top of the story as well. Now Robin looks to the inside. He's going to have a go at Terry. He pulls in very tight on the inside and does not give an inch.
And he's got him. I believe Robin Buck has got him.
Buck is by. Terry Betts is now in 4th place. Unbelievable. Isn't it? Again, we talk about focus, concentration. Once that's gone, then you're in danger.
And these are the drivers that have been saving their car in the back, not being quite as hard on the brakes, and maybe saving themselves as well, too.
Oh, look at this now, diving into pit row. We knew there was a problem here. We had Cohen beating on his car, in fact, just a little while ago, and he's brought it in along pit row.
In for a new dashboard, I believe.
This is not the race leader. We're looking at John Cadman Jr. This is the fight for second place. Look at that. Wilden is already almost out of view.
Yeah, a beautiful lead for Kenny Wilden, number 17. We see the Tide car just zoom by right there. If he can keep it together, he's got a victory here today.
Look for number 34, the Prinkles entry. That's the Firebird, and that is Robin Buck. Look, oh no, it's Spinard making a move.
Oh, Terry Betts, number 6, that Sunoco car is just being attacked.
Oh, look at Spinard literally elbows him out of the way. I think Terry went right into those tires. He's okay, he tries to recover. A few more have gone by. Oh no, Terry has dropped right off the pace. Let's look at this again.
Spinard gets side by side with Terry Betts here. The Motomaster car is Richard Spinard, kind of nudges him out of the way.
Yep, Beatty Motors right on by without any problem. And now look at this, our leading rookie in the race, Norman Boyer. Oh, speaking of rookies, oh no.
My goodness.
DJ Scranton takes it right into the tire wall and throws tires literally all over the track in that corner. Now back to Boyer, he's our leading rookie. He has to go at Betts. Betts is off in the dirt, Boyer's by.
Terry Betts is not having a good time right now.
Boy, the right side of Terry's car is beaten up, there is no question. Oh look, we see flame there inside the engine well on
Peter Cohen's car, yeah.
Okay, the extinguisher comes out. We got to get this one under control. Oh, there's a disappointed young man. I think he had pretty good hopes of doing well in his own province, Eric, and he has blown that away today. That is a shame.
Speaking of blowing it away, number 6, the Sunoco car, Terry Betts, has been attacked by just about everybody. Almost half the field has gotten by him now.
Now, number 6, can Terry settle down here? This is really what he has to do, I guess, Eric, and try to recoup what he has lost here. He's doing what he can to at least try to hang on to Norman Boyer.
Sure, refocusing is one thing, but has he gone past the point of no brakes at all at this stage of the game? He did lead, he did set the pace during the beginning of this race.
Now, the yellow flag is for all these tires that we now have sort of sprinkled all over this corner, and I don't think the marshals are going to have time before the end of this run to straighten things out there. So we'll just give them a local yellow in that one spot.
Pretty tires, by the way. Players blue, we noticed.
They are indeed, but not in the best spot. I don't think Terry liked looking at that corner one more time either. I tell you, though, Terry is leaning into it here. He's doing what he can to catch up to Normand. I would think Normand has a little advantage. He's running another event here this weekend and certainly knows this track maybe a little bit better than Terry, but can he hold him off?
He would dearly love to get rookie honors this year, too. It would be a big, big boost to his career.
Now, Terry seems to have settled down. He's trying to get this concentration back. Oh, yeah, and meanwhile, Boyer slides off to the side. Bang! He's into the concrete, and I think Betts has made it by.
Yeah, Betts has picked up another spot on there. Just the mistake by number 50, Normand Boyer, that white and green car.
Okay, we got a replay on that. Oh, yeah, he slides it right over. We've noted throughout the day how smoothly the cars are coming through there, but not Normand Boyer.
Very nicely done, though. He scraped the end of the tire wall, which is a nice safety feature on this track, so the car really didn't sustain any damage at all.
No, actually, look at this. He's right back in contention and right up on Terry Betts one more time. In the meantime, what is happening in this fight for second place? It's still John Cadman Jr., but number 34, Robin Buck, very much a factor, and Spinard, don't write him off yet.
Yeah, look at Richard Spinard. Here's the black Motomaster car, who's been sitting back in as far as 8th spot at one point in time. Now he's moving.
Back at them, by the way, Doug Beatty Jr. and then Rob Fellows, who's been a factor not at all here today.
Talk about patience and maturity. Robin Buck and Richard Spinard, they had their duels several years back.
John Cadman Jr. in view, comes up to the corner. Again, our race leader, Kenny Wilden, pretty well out of view. Can't help but feel Robin Buck is about to make a move.
After 20 laps, Kenny Wilden with a huge lead now. Richard Spinard on the move. Rob Fellows, there he is in 6th spot. Terry Betts in 7th. Ronald Hamlin, local favorite, sitting in 11th right now. We'll be back with more after this.
Welcome back. The streets are alive in Trois Rivieres, Quebec with racing. It's round 8 of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series. The leader, number 17, Kenny Wilden, is out of sight. He's pulled out an enormous lead at this point. We're looking at the fight for second place.
And look a little bit further back at number 1, the Motomaster, black Motomaster car, Richard Spinard. He's got a fire lit underneath him now. He's after Robin Buck.
Oh, John Cadman Jr. does not want to give away the second spot, though, but Robin Buck is right on him. Then Richard Spinard, and then Doug Beatty Jr., and there's Rob Fellows, top of your screen, still a factor or becoming a factor.
I think the two people have disappeared very rapidly from this race. Kenny Wilden, who leads by a large margin, and Terry Betts, who is way back there now.
Okay, now what can John Cadman Jr. do for Capital Tool and Design and STP, his sponsors, of course? You can bet are standing at the fences right now cheering this young man on, but can he catch Wilden? I don't know.
He's got a lot of experience on street circuits, and he's done well on street circuits this year.
Yeah, but I think Kenny wants to get him back. I mean, you know, he and John have had a real dice, which I think is going to happen this entire season.
Here's our leader. You can see the large gap now that he has. It goes back to the number 11 car of Beatty.
Now, suddenly, this is becoming reminiscent of about our first 5 laps. It seems that they've fallen into kind of a safe little snake pattern here. And what's happened, Eric? No one at this point really wants to quite make a move.
Well, I think a lot of the drivers are getting tired at this stage of the game, and the cars as well. We talked about brakes early on, and I think they've been a big factor in this race.
Whoa, Spinard really flew away off into the dirt there, back of Robin Buck. Did not lose a spot, though. At least he held on to his position.
Robin Buck, number 34, the Pringles entry. Not a great season to date so far, but points up for grabs in each and every race.
The one thing Robin has given up on, I think, is the overall championship this year, but not Kenny Wilden. He's sitting second. He's leading this race. And that has to be on the mind of Richard Spinard, sitting back and forth, and then Rob Fellows just back of him. What can Richard and Rob do to maintain their positioning in these points? You know Spinard and Wilden want to try to catch Rob Fellows at this stage of the season.
I think it's safe to assume at this point in time that unless Kenny Wilden has a mechanical problem or lapse in concentration, really nobody's going to catch him for the first spot.
Well, John Cadman Jr. very smooth. He is not overplaying this game, and Robin Buck is not being crazy. He's not really attacking John Cadman. Even Spinard has not really laid an attack on Buck as yet.
No, we had a flurry of action there for a little while, but things seem to have calmed down here the last 5 laps.
Here's Buck going by, the leading fire, but oh, here's a visit along pit road. That's Paul Duckworth in, our Sony entry, crew looking over the car.
Yeah, we just got a report in. Paul Duckworth was black flagged for some sort of problem in the differential. We see the officials gathered around the car. They're taking a look to see what can be done. But he was black flagged, told to come into the pits by the officials.
And in the meantime, still fairly constant out front here. The guys are still going at full tempo, but I think you're right in that comment earlier, Eric, that they've kind of worn these cars out by this stage of the race. We look back from John Cadman Jr., and that is still not really an attack from Robin Buck.
The Pringles entry number 34, Robin Buck, mentioned before, one of the few Firebirds in this field. Not had a great season. I think he's still close enough to take advantage of any mistake that Cadman Jr. might make.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, Robin charges a little stronger in that stadium corner. In fact, gained about a car length or two on Cadman Jr., but still not really a factor as they head under that stadium bridge, back down toward the Duplessis Arch. Buck right up against that concrete. Gets in a little tighter now. There might yet be a challenge, maybe, or a fight for second place.
The camera's a little deceiving. It looks like they're a little bit further apart than they actually are on the track. And, you know, a split second, a lapse in concentration by one of the drivers or something on the track, mechanical, the driver can pass you, a competitor can pass you in no time at all.
Boy, Robin dives in a lot deeper. He holds off the braking on that Firebird for a little bit longer than what John Cadman Jr. is doing.
Now we've got some cars in the middle there. I think that's the white car, Ron Schell, Poplar Grove's Camaro in there. He's one of the back markers, a slower car.
So they are actually lapping traffic here on the street circuit at Trois Rivieres. That could be rather tricky. Might have some influence as we gaze back from Betts' car. He's sitting in 7th place, but Normand Boyer is still right up on Betts. He wants to fight his way by him and gain some more of those rookie points. He wants that title this year. He wants to try to get Jacques Liliev.
Betts has had a very nasty time of it the last little bit, the last few laps, but he seems to be settled down and hanging on now.
Here's Boyer coming up again, has a look to the inside. Oh no, Boyer right up in the curving into the dirt, and yet, if anything, he gains some ground on Betts.
After 18 laps, some of the drivers that are making big moves, Shrennen from 16th to 12th, Douglas from 19th to 14th, Ronald Hamelin from 15th to 11th.
Back to the race leader, and that is in fact Kenny Wilden, working his way past another back marker, which is what John Cadman Jr. will have to deal with in a moment, and he has got Robin Buck right on him, so careful with the traffic, John.
25-lap race, it's closing stages. Kenny Wilden at this stage of the game, he's got a nice lead. He really just has to concentrate, and I'm sure he's hearing every little noise in the car right now. It's a nervous time for drivers that are leading.
What's interesting here with our race leaders, number 34, Robin Buck, the Pringles entry, simply wants to get on that platform, give his sponsor some exposure. He's not worried about championships here. He's worried about today's race, that podium, and some cash.
Yeah, the championship is not going to happen for Robin Buck this year, but it could for Kenny Wilden.
Sean Grossman here on the right side of your screen is really just limping around the track. He's doing the right thing, I guess. He's getting out of the way. Let these race leaders come screaming by, Eric.
We've really made a mess of the track here. There's just tires all over the place. And the drivers, as we saw Richard Spinard, that last corner come a little bit wide. He just kind of nicks the tires. That could be dangerous at this stage of the game. Now, they're not going to flag it or anything like that because there's only a couple of laps left.
There's Robin Buck by number 34. Here's Terry Betts coming into view. Normand Boyer directly back of him. Now, Normand has got that hand waving out of the window. I'm not quite sure what the strategy may be there or what he's up to, Eric.
He could have some fans he's waving to, be very relaxed, or he could be just putting it out to scoop some cool air in. You know, for Normand Boyer, number 50, he's fighting for these rookie honors this year. It's a good opportunity to be able to follow a guy like Terry Betts around the track and maybe learn a little bit more about this track.
Normand literally driving with one hand there as he uses the left hand to wave a little bit of that air into the car, and he kicks up a little bit more dust here as we get back to the race leader. What a great day so far for Kenny Wilden.
Kenny Wilden has had a beautiful run and done just about everything right. You know, he stayed out of trouble, and that's what you have to do in a street circuit.
John Cadman Jr. just wants to maybe hang on to the second place now at this point. I think maybe he has surrendered this entire day to Kenny Wilden. He doesn't like to do that. Robin Buck still sitting in third, but again, no real challenges here for second.
I think we're going to see a group of very tired, very exhausted drivers at the end of this event.
It's been warm in Quebec, and it seems so far this season that Quebec is really where Kenny Wilden wants to be. He's been having pretty good runs in this province.
Richard Spinard in that black Motomaster car just behind the Pringles entry here that we're looking at, Robin Buck. Richard Spinard's really settled down. He doesn't seem to be doing anything spectacular or making a move on Robin.
Here's Kenny Wilden now, settling through the final corners. This could be a day of victory. Kenny wants this in his attempts to catch Rob Fellows on top of the point standings.
What a great season for Kenny Wilden, number 17.
Checkered flag comes out, and a big wave out of the tide bounce Kenny Wilden entry. Kenny, you got it. Another victory in Quebec in '91.
He's got to love Quebec. He's had some great runs here. And today was absolutely no exception.
It's almost a tired wave. Usually Kenny's much more exuberant at the finish line.
So the final results: Kenny Wilden the winner, John Cadman Jr. second, Robin Buck in third spot, Normand Boyer eighth, Terry Betts seventh, way back there. Renaud Hamelin, local favorite, finishes up in 11th. We'll be back with the finals after this. Welcome back, and here's your winner, Kenny Wilden, scoring his second victory in 1991, leading from lap 12, and the fans love it. Third place, Robin Buck gets out of his car, as does second place John Cadman Jr. They prepare to take the ride to the podium. Congratulations to Terry Douglas, winner of the GM Parts Hard Charger Award.
I was getting a little uptight, trying to, geez, when am I going to get by him? And as Lino kept saying to me, just stay calm, he'll come to you. And sure enough, in one, he made a mistake and got really sideways, and I just drove right around him and got underneath him in a corner, too. The patience paid off, and then after that, I just kept saying to myself, just stay calm and relax, and worked out right. Okay.
Okay, indeed. A look at the overall championship standings now. Kenny Wilden manages to move up a little on Rob Fellows.
Our side of the grid was a little bit slow on the start, and we got caught, and John got a great jump, and basically it was just trying to battle to the front, and when the track is just difficult to pass and the brakes are something you really have to think about every lap, it made it tough, but we were able to get up to third.
Young Kenny Wilden ascends to the winner's podium after a masterful drive here. He really dominated this race. His second win this year in Quebec, one of the rising stars in this series, and he's already had a successful season to date. Kenny Wilden stands at the podium. He's seen such names as Villeneuve, Andretti, Rosberg, and Hunt.
Well, in the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series for this year, you might say that Kenny Wilden owns Quebec. He's made it another victory after Montreal right here on this beautiful street course at Trois Rivieres. John Cadman Jr. keeping up that war that he has continuing with Kenny Wilden as this year continues. Robin Buck even part of the factor here at Trois Rivieres today. For the Rookie of the Year honors, it was really a fine day for Normand Boyer. He'll be catching up to the rest of the gang, maybe even grabbing that lead. We're going to watch this fight right down to the finish of this year. For Eric Hollow, I'm Jim Polson, bidding you farewell from a beautiful Trois Rivieres.
This is the GM Motorsport Hour. Brought to you by Players Limited, General Motors of Canada Limited, Quality GM Parts, the expert choice, and by Sony, the one and only.